Welcome to the Milkwood Growing Mushrooms on Logs mini course. We are so excited to share our love of log cultivation with you, and specifically to share with you everything we know about growing shiitake mushrooms, one of our favourites. In this mini course, we will take you through all the steps to get you growing. We'll start with how to select logs and where to find them. Then we'll show you the best way we know to prepare your logs, inoculate them with dow spawn, how to stack them, and then how to care for your logs until they fruit with many mushrooms. But to start with, let's take a closer look at what makes growing mushrooms on logs so excellent, what species are the best suited to this approach, and what life as a home shiitake cultivator will look like for you. Are you ready to get your shiitake on? There are so many excellent reasons to get into log cultivation. Log culture is a fantastic example of the permaculture principle, using edges and valuing the marginal. If you look at farmland, you'll often notice small patches of forests on the steep land at the edges of productive landscapes. Dense thickets of trees often get left on the less valuable areas where it's hard to cultivate crops. But that same shady, protected understory of the forest or your garden is not only providing biodiversity to the land around it, it's also perfect for log cultivation, which means we can turn an undervalued and previously unproductive part of our land into a food-producing powerhouse, while maintaining and coexisting with the biodiversity of the forest. Most of that diverse flora in a forest, or in the shady part of your garden for that matter, will be in the form of trees. Through photosynthesis, forests harness phenomenal yields of energy, which we humans can't easily eat because we can't digest trees' wood all that well. But we can cut a log from a tree and convert that to human food by growing mushrooms on it. So, growing mushrooms on logs allows us to turn forests into food. Log cultivation doesn't cost much to set up, which is great. All stages of log cultivation happen outside, so there's no need to invest in a grow room or fruiting chamber, no need for gadgets or to manage humidity or temperature, and you don't need a supply of buckets. While you may need to buy your logs, if you have access to a woodland or forest, they too can be free. The other things you need to invest in is a big tub and some spawn and some tools, which you may already have at home. Now, an important point to know before you begin is, log grows are slow grows. It takes time for your mycelium to digest a solid log, and as the mycelium and mushrooms are growing outside, they have to roll with the shifting humidity and temperature of the natural environment. These environmental changes impact the appearance of your mushrooms, down to the patterning on the caps. But outdoor growing also creates mushrooms with the strongest flavours and the firmest texture, and are the most sought after by chefs. The growing mushrooms on logs requires you to get outside, which is great, and to observe changing patterns of weather. And it fosters a beautiful connection to your outdoors and the seasons at your place. Like our mushroom gardens, we can't control a lot of the conditions for our log grows, but we can enjoy the seasonal activities and the rituals that come with inoculating and harvesting mushrooms on logs. And once you make starting a batch of mushroom logs a yearly habit at your place, you too will in time begin to enjoy regular harvests of amazing homegrown log cultivated mushrooms. So good. So, what species can we grow on logs? Well, a log is a piece of dead wood. So most of the dead wood-loving saprotrophic mushrooms can be grown on logs. Common species that are suitable include lion's mane, piopino, a wide variety of oysters, reishi, chicken of the woods, maitake, namiko, chestnut mushrooms, and turkey tail. And our favourite, the main species that is commercially cultivated on logs, the shiitake. So the shiitake is the species we are going to focus on cultivating in this mini course. But while some elements, like preferred wood species for logs or ideal fruiting temperatures, might differ, the same basic technique we're about to show you will apply to all the wood-loving mushrooms. It's worth clarifying that mushrooms that are secondary decomposers, the compost-loving mushrooms, like King Stropharia and wood bluets and agaricus, like your button mushrooms and shaggy manes, will not grow on logs. They're much more suited to mushroom gardens. Now, as a home cultivator, growing shiitake on logs presents a particularly special opportunity to weave mushroom growing into your garden and your kitchen and your community. So, what could this look like for you? Cultivating shiitake on logs is all about playing the long game. Shiitake logs are typically inoculated in autumn or spring and left to myceliate for about 2 summers, which means it can be up to 18 months or even 2 years before you harvest your first mushrooms. But once it starts fruiting, a log can produce more mushrooms every year for up to 5 years. Now, because this is not going to get you a quick mushroom fix, it's worth thinking through your game plan, which this mini course will walk you through step by step. But here's an overview. You're going to need to source logs, cut the logs and inoculate them, which is physical work. You're going to need to store your beautiful logs. Tightly stacked at the bottom of your garden is fine, while the mycelium is running through them. And then, down the track, when it's time, you're going to need somewhere else, probably closer to your house, to prop your carefully stewarded logs up for fruiting. With outdoor grows, it makes good sense to future-proof your harvest by inoculating a batch of logs each year. This way, you'll move into a cycle of both cultivating and harvesting, year in, year out, with very little effort once you know what you're doing. When it comes to inoculating, the most cost-effective way is to buy spawn in big bags, which will give you enough spawn to inoculate at least 20 logs. But if you inoculate 20 logs each autumn, you could find yourself wrangling 100 logs in 5 years' time, which is doable on your own, but it is a lot of work and it's a lot of mushrooms. So, friends, shiitake logs are best done with friends. There is a sweet spot in terms of logs, work required, and the sheer volume of mushrooms you could be harvesting. For a home cultivator, 50 logs is a good amount to aim for, accrued over maybe 5 years. This will give you a few kilograms of delicious shiitake mushrooms each week over mushroom season, which is perfect if you want to cook some straight away and dry enough for the rest of the year. So, when you're getting a batch of mushroom logs ready, consider finding a pal or 2. Cutting logs is faster and safer with a bit of help, and inoculating is faster and way more fun with a friend. And over time, when the logs are ready to fruit, you can then make a real event of it, if you like, because the best time to inoculate your logs is autumn, which happens to also be the best time for the mushrooms to fruit. So, someday soon, you could host an annual autumn shiitake festival with friends inoculating and cooking and eating and enjoying shiitake goodness. Just an idea. See, so many reasons to love shiitake cultivation. So there's a bit of insight about why we grow mushrooms on logs. You now know what species of mushrooms work well for this technique, and that in this mini course we will be focusing on shiitake mushrooms. And you have an understanding of what you are getting into when you begin your log cultivation journey. Got any questions? Add yours to the comments below and we can help you out. So, where do we start? With logs. But where do you get them from? What should you be looking for? Join us in the next lesson and we'll take you through it.